Hi, I'm Miss Sarah, and this is At Home Makerspace, where I show you how to make fun projects with things you can find at home. Our summer reading program may have wrapped up, but we still have more fun things to do at the library. Here on At Home Makerspace, I'll be sharing how you can make your own rock candy, and we'll be exploring the science behind these sweet crystals. I'm really excited to share this project with you, so let's go ahead and get started. Making rock candy is a great kitchen science experiment, and most of the things you'll need to make it can be found in your kitchen. The ingredients you'll need are 1 cup of filtered water and 3 cups of white sugar. You may also choose to add food coloring and a flavoring. You'll also need a jar or glass, a popsicle stick or pencil, a piece of string, undyed cotton works well, and something to weight your string, like a washer. Alternatively, you could swap the stick, string, and washer for a wooden skewer and a clothespin. You'll also need something to cover your jar, like aluminum foil or a sheet of paper towel. Finally, you will need a saucepan or microwave-safe dish, as well as a spoon. You'll also need either a stove or a microwave. And since we'll be working with heat, make sure you have anything you might need to do this project safely, such as oven mitts or a grown-up helper. Once you've gathered all of your supplies, the next thing you'll need to do is prepare the jar where we'll be growing our rock candy. Start by tying your weight to one end of your string. Make sure your weight has been thoroughly cleaned and sterilized in boiling hot water. It's important to clean your washer because we want to make sure our rock candy will be safe to eat later on. I recommend tying a double knot to make sure it's extra secure. Now you're going to tie the other end around your popsicle stick or pencil. Make sure your washer doesn't reach all the way to the bottom of your jar. It should be about 2/3 of the way down. If your string is a bit too long, you can wrap it some extra times like I did here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tie another double knot to secure it to my popsicle stick. And it should rest inside of your jar just like this. See how it's about 2/3 of the way down? You can also replace the string with a wooden skewer and use a clothespin to hold it in place. Next, we're going to prep the string by adding what's known as seed crystals. Start by getting your string a little bit wet, then roll it around in some white sugar. By adding sugar crystals to the string, we're creating a foundation upon which the rest of our crystals can grow. If you're using a wooden skewer, you'll want to do the same thing. Get it wet and coat it with sugar. Set your string or skewer to the side to dry. You know it's dry when you can gently shape or tap the string or skewer and the sugar crystals do not fall off. Once your jar is ready, it's time to make the sugar solution, which is the liquid we'll be pouring into the jar. Here's how to make it. Add your water to your saucepan or a microwave-safe dish. If you're using a saucepan, turn your burner to medium-high, and if you're using the microwave, begin heating your water for 30 seconds. When the water is hot, you can begin to add the sugar. Add 1 cup of sugar at a time and stir until all of the sugar dissolves. When your first cup of sugar has completely dissolved, it's time to add your second cup. If you're heating your water in the microwave, you'll want to alternate between heating it for about 30 seconds and then adding your sugar, and stirring until the sugar dissolves. Whether you're using a microwave or a stovetop, remember that the water will get hot, so use caution or ask a grown-up for help. When your second cup of sugar has dissolved, it's time to add your third. It might take a bit longer for this last cup of sugar to dissolve. Try adding the sugar a little bit at a time and remember to keep stirring. What we are creating here is something called a super saturated solution. Try saying that 3 times fast. Here's a little bit more about the science behind super saturated solutions. Here we have some sugar and some water. If we add a little sugar to the water and give it a stir, the sugar will dissolve in the water. But water can only dissolve so much sugar. When the water has dissolved all the sugar that it can, this is known as a saturated solution. If you try adding more sugar, that sugar won't dissolve no matter how much stirring you do. But there is a trick for getting this extra sugar to dissolve. You simply heat the water. Hot water can dissolve more sugar than room temperature water. Once the extra sugar has dissolved, you can let it cool back to room temperature, and that extra sugar will stay dissolved. Since our room temperature water is now holding more sugar, it is known as a super saturated solution. When all of the sugar has dissolved, you can choose to add an optional flavoring. I'm adding a food-grade essential oil, but you could also add an extract like peppermint or vanilla. You can also choose to add some food coloring at this stage. Give everything a final stir, and then it's time to remove it from the heat. You'll want to let it cool for at least 15 minutes. Now you can add your cooled mixture to your jar or glass. Fill it up most of the way, but you don't want it to be completely full because you don't want to risk spilling it. If you have any left over, you can use it to fill a second jar. Carefully place your string into the middle of the jar and let the stick rest across the top. Now loosely cover your jar with something like aluminum foil or a paper towel. You just want to protect it from having any dust or debris fall into your liquid. Now place your jar somewhere where it's not likely to be disturbed. And then we wait. I let my jar sit for 1 week, and here's what happened. So why do these crystals grow? Well, remember our super saturated solution with that extra sugar? When we add a string with sugar crystals on it, the extra sugar in the water attaches itself to those sugar crystals, growing bigger and bigger crystals. I broke off a piece of my rock candy and let the liquid drain away. It now looks something like this. Before you eat your rock candy, take a closer look at the crystals. Sugar crystals grow in this shape, which looks a bit like a hexagonal prism with tapered ends. Can you find this 6-sided shape in your rock candy? If I looked really closely, I could find it in mine. But not all crystals grow in the same shape. A salt crystal, for example, grows in a cube. If you're interested in learning more about different kinds of crystals and their shapes, be sure to check out the links in the description. Now, I think it's time to sample our rock candy. And finally, a quick cleanup tip. If you end up with lots of extra crystals on the bottom or the sides of your jar, you can just fill the jar with some hot water to dissolve those crystals and make it much easier to clean. We hope you enjoyed learning how to make your own rock candy and exploring some of the science behind it. If you do make rock candy, we'd love to see it, so please take a picture and share it with us at the library. You can do so through our Facebook at www.facebook.com/FHCPL, through our Instagram. Our handle is @FHCPL, or you can send us an email. Our email address is makerspace@findlaylibrary.org. We hope to see you again soon for another video. Bye!